In this video, I'd like to talk about how you can create a personal cash management budget. Now, let's first of all, what is a personal budget? It's a plan for expected income and outflows of personal expenses. It could also be a review of our personal spending habits. So we can either project forward or we can just go to our checkbook and find the items in the checkbook that match the information in this spreadsheet, and that can help us to review where we're actually spending our money. And I think that's a very valuable tool. Most of us don't really understand where all of our money goes. And it's understandable since we all have such wide varieties of things that we spend money on. So let's let's also though think about one other thing. What is not a budget? Or what about a budget is not necessarily true? It's not a strict discipline spending plan, right? So I think this is why most people hate the word budget, because they see it as this thing that they've got to follow. And it's really not that at all. It is either a reflection to the past, so we can see maybe where we're spending money, maybe we shouldn't, or it is a plan to move forward. Again, looking at where we think we spend our money. Now, in the next period, again, this could be done monthly, it could be done annually. I prefer monthly. I think that makes sense for most folks. The next thing you look at is just say, well, okay, what do I think is going to happen next month? And of course, at the end of the month, you come back and you review. Were you correct or not? If you were not correct, it's not a terrible thing. It's just now, okay, I need to reset and I need to think about this stuff. So let's look at this process. Step one, we want to determine our fixed income and payments. So we can start off with revenues. So this couple they both make $5,000. He's got a little side hustle that he makes $1,000 on. She's got $200 worth of dividends. So the total, $11,200 is their gross income. Now we need to figure out taxes. If we look at taxes, I figured taxes, federal income taxes, I figured around 27%. State, I'm figuring that to be around 4%. Now, here's where something's a little weird because I do want to separate some of these items. Taxes, real estate taxes, are typically wrapped up in your mortgage payment. So in this case, I have pulled that out of the mortgage payment. Likewise, the same thing is true with homeowners insurance. That's usually in the mortgage payment. So when we see the mortgage payment, we're going to know that that is net of the escrow expenses. Auto insurance, $290. We're still contributing $250 to health insurance, $115 to dental. Then we go up here and we put in some of our information, our mortgage, right? So it's $1,000. Again, if you think about it, really, our mortgage payment is probably closer to $1,300 some dollars. A couple of auto loans, some credit card bills. We also incorporate some savings that happen every month, right? Every month, 5% goes into our company's retirement programs. We have some personal savings. We also put money in an emergency fund. So in the end, what do we know? We know that we have $11,200 comes in the door, and these are the cash flows from each one of these areas. So if we look at the bottom, we have a little graph that shows us the percentage going into each area, if you will. So in this case, for debt, that's just great. We have about, looks like 20% goes to debt. 34% is what's left over right here for what I refer to as living expenses. It's quality of life issues. We haven't looked at all of our variable expenses yet. So again, let's do that. Again, we put in our payments that we either have made or we expect to make. Some of these will look like fixed because they might be the same every month. But of course, if you decide to turn your phone off, you wouldn't have that expense. So these are still kind of variable. And again, we have a variety of different expenses for the family, for transportation, for charity, right? We have some leisure types of expenses. And again, we're going to come out and we're going to say, well, what are our percentages then? So if we look at our total expenses, 31% goes to taxes, 7% goes to insurance, 21% goes to cover debt, 9% is what goes to savings, and our living expenses are around 29.09%. So what does that end up telling us? Well, we had 11,200 come in the door, and we have accounted for $10,485. So at the end of the month, if you think about this, if we started the month with $0 and this activity all happened during the month, we should have $715 left at the end of the month. This is what we refer to as discretionary spending, right? What are you going to do with this extra money? Well, again, if we know that there are months where there's more bills than others, insurance is one of those things where, some people will make quarterly payments to insurance rather than monthly. But again, if we look at this, it says, what am I going to do with this $715? And I mean, it's not that much money. So what if we just said this? What if we're going to put, we'll put 40% to our savings and we'll put 60% goes to pay off our debt. So we would take an extra $429 at the end of this month and help pay off our debt. Now, of course, we want to make sure that we have an emergency fund. If we're building our emergency fund, I think we would want this all to go to that emergency fund till we got it built up pretty good. So again, this just gives us an idea of, in this case, what we predict to spend next month. We just as easily, as I said, could have gotten these numbers from my checking account. Maybe I do 3 months and find the average expenses. But I think what you'll find in the end, and this has been my personal experience, is this $715 is never there. Because we do spend, money does leak out, right? We would like to be able to find out where that money is going, right? $715, if it's not in the checking account, it's unaccounted for. Where did that money get spent? So maybe this month, maybe we spent $500 on gas, or maybe there's something extra happened this month that we had to spend extra money on. That's okay. Excuse me. That's okay, but we just need to keep track. This is the magic number: discretionary income. Are you spending more money than you have coming in the door? If this number is negative, the only way you can be surviving is by borrowing. So again, just very quickly, I just want to talk about this cash budget. And I think maybe you should try this out for yourself, right? See how it works for you in particular. Have a plan for where you'd like this excess cash to go, if you have excess cash. If you don't have excess cash and you can identify all the dollars and you're just spending more than you have coming in, now we need to start looking at these variable expenses, right? Maybe I don't need $200 in cable, right? Maybe I can go to Hulu and I can get it for $59. I don't need to have all of those premium channels, right? For entertainment, right? So maybe I can cut that back a little bit. How long are you going to cut back? Well, you cut back until you have discretionary income that is reasonable so that you have this safety valve every month, again, in case something happens that you're not prepared for. So, again, that's all about a personal cash management budget. Hope you liked it. See you soon.